I'd like to start by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we're meeting today. My name's Sophie Barrett, and I'm the Sustainability and Strategy Advisor at Cairns Regional Council, and also a building designer and owner of the Dreamcatcher house. We were after a home for our family that could allow for intergenerational living, including housing our mother who was moving up from down south in a separate house, and also a home office. To do this, we wanted to have separate pavilions so we could have our own space, but also to achieve a high level of energy efficiency. You can see from the floor plan and north of the page that we had a long axis from east to west, which means that we minimise the amount of east and west facing walls. So at the top right there we have the granny flat and bedroom that's got a separate courtyard and entry on the outside. To the right there you can see the carport and office with a separate external entry. And then entry to the main house was through a central courtyard, through a stone circle, and across a bridge water feature to an entry vestibule. Then from there you can either head towards the left to the dining, kitchen, living open plan area and master bedroom parents retreat, or across to the kids retreat, which includes a media room and laundry. You can see here that entry area that I was talking about, which joined the two main pavilions. So passive solar design was really important in this home, and it was orientated to capture the summer breezes and winter breezes from the north and southeast. So the buildings were narrow, and I mentioned that separate building form, which allowed us to maximise cross ventilation and natural daylighting. We had lots of shading on the northwest for our deck area out the front, and also here along the back you can see the kids' bedrooms on the southern area. They've got a pergola which has jade vine planted on it, which provides great shade to those southern walls. They also have recycled timber pergolas across the top there, and you can see the fire pit there with also timber seats, and that comes from a local bridge that was demolished. So having those open plan living areas and narrow building forms allows a lot of natural light. So we've got a minimum of 2 openings in each room for cross ventilation, and hallways have been minimised so that we won't block breeze paths by using those. It has been orientated, as I mentioned before, to the northeasterly breezes in summer. We can also open up to those southeasterlies if they come through to cool things down. You can see here the triple stacker doors, which allow for open plan living, but they also make the space seem bigger. So having a smaller internal area is offset by having access and open plan living to a large deck, which actually increases the ventilation, but gives you that feeling of openness as well. You can see here these lots of louvers, so that they allow 100% opening into each of the rooms, and the bathroom features some of those natural features. So a high energy star rating was really important to us, not only for the energy efficiency, but because my husband, Andrew at Green and Heart, does energy efficiency ratings. So we wanted to demonstrate that you could actually achieve a high energy rating home. So some of the things we did in the design stage was to make sure that we incorporated these features. So things like using 900mm overhangs, solar and eaves vents. So we have solar vents on the roof and eaves vents, so that can draw the cool air into the roof space and release it through the top. We also had double insulation, so we had insulation on the ceiling and on top of the roof, so that kept the roof space very cool, which actually cooled the whole home down. We had louvers throughout, which allowed for that 100% window opening that I mentioned earlier, and also insulation in the walls. The building was a lightweight structure, and that made sure that it kept cool and cooled down quite quickly. So simple little things like 1400 fans can be really important in achieving energy efficiency. For example, if you use a 900 fan or a 1200 fan, just adding that extra width allows a lot more cooling and actually can increase your energy efficiency rating by up to a star. Some of the features we selected were low energy use, so energy efficient pool pump, electric appliances and air conditioning, and also a 5.6 kilowatt solar power system, which is battery ready. So this can allow us to upgrade to a battery. It had a 3-year payback period, which has already passed, but now we can add the batteries at a later point when they reduce in cost. And solar, hot water and gas cooktops. Minimising waste was important even during the design stage. So we made sure that we designed it to meet different sheet widths, and material width so that we could minimise waste. All waste on the site was recycled, so there was a skip company that actually offered recycling and sorting of waste, so what they could recycle. There's a few things like styrofoam that weren't able to be recycled, but most of the building waste and the things like cardboard, soil, etc. gets wasted and concrete can be crushed. So recycled materials were used throughout. So you can see here the front entry gates, which have a crushed glass light boxes on either side. The crushed glass is a waste product, which is from recycling. So some of the bottles get broken. These can be crushed and then used for things like under the slabs as sand, or we've also incorporated them into the pavers and entry slab. So this is a special feature and actually reduce the amount of raw materials needed for the house. You can see on the right there a bit more detail of them putting the recycled glass under the slabs, and it was really easy to work with because it's not as fine as sand, and it has that kind of safety feature as well. At the top there you can see the rainwater tank and the timber pergolas that I mentioned earlier, the solar power system in the middle, and also the entry area, which also has recycled glass in a concrete slab. A bit of a close-up of the light boxes on either side of the entry. And this is the slab I mentioned. So that has the recycled glass in the slab and also glowstones, and we've polished that up as well. So up the top there you can see the skylights. So they charge the floor up during the day, which gives you a really nice feature at night, which actually helps light up that entry and save you using artificial lighting. Water efficiency features were included as well, with water-saving toilets and fixtures. And the swimming pool was a magnesium swimming pool, which means that we can empty that out onto the gardens, and the magnesium is really good for the gardens and better for your health as well. We had a 5,000 litre rainwater tank, which can water the gardens and fill the pool. The grass that's shown there is the Zoysia matrella, which is a no-mow grass, and it is a native and has low water use, but also you only need to mow it every couple of months, which we really appreciated. On-site water retention, obviously by using lots of permeable features, porphyry pavers with rock between, lots of mulch and native vegetation, and pond with aquaponics. Bit of an exterior showing the fire pit and the solar power system. We also made sure that with the materials that we chose, sustainable materials where possible. So things like using no VOC paints internally and low volatile organic paints externally. So that just keeps down those emissions and also better for your human health as well. The cabinetry was all made of E0, so no emissions cabinetry. The earth wool in the roof and walls is a low organic, low formaldehyde product and less hazardous as well than standard insulation. We used physical termite barriers instead of chemical barriers. And again, choosing things like the recycled plastic timbers through the landscaping features and bamboo flooring. So the detail of the bamboo flooring, which is a lot more sustainable than using hardwoods and is also very durable and looks great as well. So check out our Cool Homes Guide, the Cairns Regional Council Cool Homes Guide. Just Google Cool Homes Guide and it'll give you a checklist of some of the things that you can include in your home to help make it more sustainable. Thank you for your time and I hope you enjoyed the tour.